Hello, everybody, and welcome to the All Around Podcast, episode 15. We are Players of the Round Table. Today is June 18th, 2017. My name is Jeremy, and with me, as always, is Nick.
Hola.
And we're kind of going to do a post-E3 recap thing, also talk about ARMS because it came out.
Yep.
But basically, today is more opinion-based than it is news-based.
Yeah, it's definitely a more relaxed one. I mean, we did so much coverage for E3.
Yeah, it was literally bullet point after bullet point after bullet point. Now it's just like, we can breathe, we can let you guys know what we think. So
definitely more relaxed. All the gaming news came out.
Yes,
so
there's literally no more news.
Yes.
For at least a week.
For at least a week.
I mean, unless you want depressing news, which is that the voice actor for Claire Redfield is not coming back for the Resident Evil 2 remake.
I did hear about that.
That makes me upset.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the only news we got post E3.
I mean, the good news is, though, out of that, is that the Resident Evil 2 remake is still happening.
So exactly.
It's
still a thing.
It's definitely a plus.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
let's start off with ARMS.
Yep.
Because that came out. So, here, shoot us the reviews. What's
IGN
up?
gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Metacritic gave it a 77% from all of the professional reviews.
Mm-hmm.
7.8 out of user score,
mm-hmm.
which is kind of what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought it was right in the middle.
Yeah, it's a brand new Nintendo IP. It's kind of similar to how Splatoon went when Splatoon first came out. It's got the very similar ratings because it was brand new. It was a new experience.
Yeah.
There's a couple bugs they got to work out here and there,
mm-hmm.
but it's fun.
Oh, definitely.
It's a lot of fun.
And also, so both of us have bought it.
Yep.
So overall, is that most of your thought, just kind of like in the middle?
Yeah.
'Cause I was gonna say I have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's why I didn't know if you.
I think it's a lot of fun. I think the game modes are really cool. I was not under the impression before buying it because I really didn't look into it that much. I was just kind of like, hey, it's a new Switch game. I have a Switch. I need something new to play. I'll get it. So basically, I didn't know that there were different modes like basketball and skill shot, and I didn't know that there was a 100-man thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that you had multiple different controller figurations that you could use on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a nice surprise. It was very cool. I like the roster. You showed me earlier about the color changes for the skins, which I didn't know was there.
Yeah, it was like a secret thing. It's even in, if you look under extras under help, it even says it's like there's a secret to change skins. And in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe it's hold buttons. I tested it for like 5 minutes. I was like, nope. And I was just like, maybe a thumbstick. And I was like, aha.
So but I like it a lot. I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. So.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, like, I think the ratings are very appropriate. I think it's very, I don't want to say it's in the middle, because it is technically, like, above average.
Yep.
But then we were joking about what average is, because I feel like this is average.
Yeah.
I feel like a 70 is decent enough to still be called a game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Average.
It's not, like, 7, so, a 77% is borderline 80. Mm-hmm. 70 through 100 is good. I mean, some people might argue that a 5.5 isn't even bad, and that fives are averages because they're fives. But when we're dealing with AAA titles and we're dealing with games that are good
and first party games,
more importantly, 70 to 80% is the average for those games that have come out. So 5 is an average on the whole scale from every game ever.
And also too, even to think about it this way, it's like, obviously the games are expected to come out good as a good product. So when it comes to the rating system of, the average of just, if you rate every game that's ever been put out, like you were saying, ever, you are going to hit that medium. But, like, at the same time, every game that you're, especially spending 60 to upwards of, even like 80, depending on extra editions or whatever.
Right.
Or more, you know what I mean, or more.
You spend $900 on Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That shit better come with like a Lamborghini or some shit, like, good lord. I don't think I know your mental math. You're like $900. You're like, that's like if $90,000.
I had to pay $900 to get the Assassin's Creed limited edition that came with a Lamborghini. I'm not gonna go buy.
Well, who says it's a life-size Lamborghini? Maybe it's it's fair. Aha.
Okay, maybe it's like one of the ones that like the kids sit in and it's like motorized.
Yes,
and
they fooled you.
Electronic.
They fooled you again.
Yep, always.
They promote Lamborghini. You went for it.
Yep.
No, but like I said, so it's like it's in the middle. For me, and it's totally appropriate. I think for casual people, so if you're not really super big into fighters, if you don't really ever want to delve into mechanics and combo systems and memorizing and going through all that, this game is perfect. You can jump right in, and even people who are used to fighting games, especially like minute 1, you're on the same par as people who have never played a fighting game before.
It's just so different. It's a learning curve for everybody.
Exactly. And the other thing too, which I think you brought up a little bit, was which I didn't know when it first came out. I thought it was actually only through Joy-Cons.
Yes.
I did not even know that there was an option for controllers when it was first coming out. So I got to learn that, so that was pretty cool.
Even the 2-player aspect. Like, I didn't think that this was going to be a game that you could play 2-player, each person having one Joy-Con.
One Joy-Con,
like, I didn't think that was a thing. That was because
I was very surprised.
I was playing it with my little brother last night, and he was all about it. He knew everything. He looked up this game for like months, and he was just like, he was like, here, and I was like, here what? He was like, you can play with the Joy-Cons. You can do both, and it's kind of one thing that is kind of weird, but it still makes sense. So, because you have so many different things to do, you have target lock, you have guard, you have your special ability, you have dash and jump and all that stuff.
Yep.
When you have the Joy-Con on its side to switch targets, you're actually using the side of your finger to hit ZR or ZL, depending on which one you're on, to change targets. Okay. Everything else is pretty much the same. Yeah. Because you've got the buttons up here for your special.
So you really got to reach for those.
Yes, so you just hit it with the side. So it's like, So if you
so it's actually easier.
You have your Switch?
I do, but the camera's not going to pick it up.
That's true. You're right. All right, but anyway,
your hand's gonna be over it, going, look how easy it is.
Look, But if you have it like this, and you just move your finger that way, you're hitting the side like bumper, and that's how you change targets if you're doing a multi thing.
That's cool.
So I like it a lot. I think it's interesting.
What I was gonna say as well, though, so for casual players, it's awesome. The different game modes are sweet. It's a great day one game.
Yeah.
But that sounds awful to say, but I do have a lot of issues with it for a fighting game. My biggest complaint, and it might sound silly to some people, but for me, I think it's a big deal. There is not a training mode. And what I mean by that is, because people are probably going to jump on me for it, because technically there is, but it is only hey, press this button to do this button, do this to do this. There is not a training mode in the sense of, here's just an open arena with you fighting another character to learn buttons, to just get down the controls and feel comfortable. What I would have even liked as well, which they kind of have in Player Match, but I wish they would have it universally, was if you were waiting in between load times, you could just do put you in a blank space and fight people. They have it when
even if you're just fighting a dummy, just to practice hitting things.
Exactly. That's what I wish
they don't explain the power-ups.
Oh, not at all. And hero abilities.
Yeah, they don't explain any of that.
Yeah, the biggest tip I heard day one before buying it, someone told me, was make sure you look up everything in the game, and also that's the other thing. I wish the game would just almost like you were saying, I wish the game would tell me stuff. I don't like that everything in the game is presented by slideshows.
Yes, no, I don't like that either.
I don't think it was necessarily a bad move. It's just not a good one.
Yeah,
and I just don't like scrolling through 36 pages of just but what's the one thing I want to look at? Boom. Or if anything, because I tried it, I wish I could just touch the page on the Switch, because it's a touchscreen, where it was hey, this is the one you want. Boom, and just jump 10 pages and go right to that one. As opposed to scrolling through. Here's how to, if I just want to learn how to advance guard. And no, I need to go through guarding, punching, advanced punching, medium punching, blah, blah, blah. I have to go through all the pages. So it's just annoying to even kind of recap on stuff. Another thing I actually had a major issue with after playing for a little while that I got on full tilt about. And maybe this is just my lack of playing. Cause it has only been out for 24 hours at this point.
48.
Or 48, I'm sorry. Been out for 2 days.
Yeah, today's Sunday.
So when you get coins in the game, when you get enough coins, you can do the get arms shop option, I guess, which is you play a target practice mode, which is one of the modes in the game, but throughout that target practice mode, you're set on a timer, and eventually boxes will drop, and as long as you hit the boxes, an item will drop, and that'll guarantee one item for whichever character you're playing as, which is cool. Here's the problem I had. So when I started playing the game, I was using the Joy-Cons, punching.
Yeah.
Okay? So I guess what happened was, and when you want to guard, you want to tilt in. Okay? That's how you guard.
Gotcha.
So I was guarding to tilt in to then do a super punch, because then depending on the glove you have, will do an explosion or something. But what happened was, my Joy-Con, in the middle of doing all this, desynced. And it's on a timer. And just when I was about to punch 2 boxes, and it's the only I've done the get arms option, only the smallest one, so it only gives you a 30-second window.
Right.
I've only ever gotten one arm item out of it every time, and this is the first time I was going to get 2, and I ended up completely wasting my money and getting 0 because it desynced.
It desynced.
So that was super annoying. And it's kind of that point where I don't even understand why it has to be a target practice thing. Why can't I just spend $30 just to get a lottery wheel? I get the functionality of like, oh, you can do that and it's cool, but it's like, and like I said, I haven't bought the upper option ones, and I'm assuming you'll get a better bonus and more will show up with better option, but you also jump from 30 to 100 to then 200.
Yeah.
The jump for the coin scale is fucking ridiculous. Absurd.
Yeah.
And so far, I mean, I was just even messing with it before we just started the podcast. Yep. The best way I've looked at to farming money, at least for right now, is either doing the full Grand Prix or doing 1 versus 100. Because that 1 versus 100 gets you 10 right out the gate. Grand Prix, it's like 10 matches that can grant you about 15.
Yeah.
If you play it right. And keep in mind, I did Grand Prix with 3 perfects and got 15. So that's even more bonus on top of it. So I would assume it's also 10.
Yeah.
But 1 versus 100 you could do in like half the time. So that would probably be the mode that I would probably do the most. But going back to even the training thing, like I said, just for fighting game stuff, it's very uninformative in that sense. And especially for a fighting game that seems like it's trying to appeal to everyone. You should put out a big tutorial on
especially
everything.
Because a lot of the things, I mean, yes, Nintendo, all of their commercials now are geared towards younger adults.
Yes.
But a lot of what they're going for is also kid-friendly.
And competitive online.
Yes, and competitive online. So if you're going to get a happy medium between kid-friendly, young adults, and super competitive online, you've got to explain it more.
You just have to teach it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm worried about looking at Splatoon 2. Because they're going to go into it like, oh, everybody's played Splatoon. But, like, nobody had a Wii U. Yeah. So, like, nobody played Splatoon.
Yeah.
So, like, we're all going to play it now.
Well, what I'm hoping is, and something that's significantly different from ARMS to Splatoon 2, is Splatoon 2 is super focused on a campaign as well. So I'm not worried because I think the campaign is going to give you a good tutorial.
Oh, I agree.
So that's why I'm not worried about that nearly as much.
Because the first one was more multiplayer than it was anything. And now this one has a real story mode.
And if anything, too, with Splatoon, you have a lobby. So you can run around and get the basic controls.
Yep.
Which is, yet again, something I don't know why they didn't do in ARMS.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing, if it is just an online game. In the sense of, like, you know, you're only doing this, why didn't they just put in a hub world?
Yeah.
That was the only thing.
Or a hub world option.
Exactly. And here's my thing. I'm not going to super berate the game. Right now, I would give the game just about an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
graphically, awesome. The combat, when it's working, super fun. I'm having a great time. The different ARMS options is great. I think the variety's super cool. I think the characters are very diverse. But the only thing that even the game, after even reading everything, the game doesn't explain well. Element attacks, I don't know what they do. I don't know, well, that's not true. I know burning damage does more extra damage. I know freezing slows the opponent. I know shock damage paralyzes the opponent a little bit more with
and then
the stun.
You've got the wind one, which, like, blows them away, too.
Yep. So I get that, but it's like, is that it? Does an element beat out another element if they're punching? I don't know. And I've played the game for at least substantial amount of time to go like, well, I still am not know, because the game's going so fast too. Like, I don't know, and the game doesn't tell you either.
And the rounds, like, you don't. At least in my personal opinion, I don't think you get a lot of health. And I think.
Oh yeah, the rounds go very quick.
They're quick, so there's not a lot of time to goof around and figure out what things do.
That's
you're just
the other
like,
thing.
It's like, hey, you're in it now, so go do it, and you're either going to win or you're going to lose. You don't have time to figure out if you like this character or not, because it's like, oh, the round's over. I didn't even get to use my special.
And the whole thing is like, and like I said, this is just my lack of experience with it too, so I'm not trying to like super berate the game. But
we might have completely different opinions next week.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, right out of the gate, just a character that interested me, only because they didn't show him off in the trailer at all, was, and the only character that technically has a companion is...
Bite and Bark.
Bite and Bark, who's this policeman-type robot
who's got,
with
like,
a robot dog.
Yeah,
who also throws punches himself, which is really cool. And it's very occasionally.
It's so annoying to fight.
Exactly, yes. And what I didn't even know until after looking stuff up. I did the whole Grand Prix without even knowing this. If you jump on him, during your jump, you repel all punches, and you automatically gain a double jump, and your punches become super while jumping on him. So it's super advantageous to jump on him.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought he was just purely a companion. And I was using him when I was just playing, like, just kind of that quick impulse get with it. Yeah. I was using him as a shield.
Me too.
So I was like, oh, I can block because he'll take a hit, and then I can go in. And it worked for me well. Yeah. But then I tried doing a couple, like, online matches with the jumping, and I was like, holy shit, he's way better. But it's like, I don't even understand why, when I first selected him in the first loading screen, why he just doesn't have the loading screen thing of that. And like I said, when you're looking through the extras menus and stuff, it's like a slideshow. Why can't that slide be the loading thing?
Yeah.
Of just, hey, this is what this character does. And just do that all the time.
Right.
Because the loading screen is just fucking arms with a yellow screen.
Yeah.
Why not do those slideshows so people would be like, oh shit, that works. Or, this is going to sound even like sillier, do the slideshow in the loading screen.
Yes.
So I could just select through them and then press A to continue.
The other thing too, now that like you say that, I think this is the first game in a really long time that I've seen loading screens and there's no kind of tips.
Exactly.
Like, there's no tips.
That's exactly it.
Every other game that you do anything like with a loading screen in between, they have a tip or they have like a message or they have something like sitting there.
And the loading screen is significant enough where you're noticing it.
Yes.
But it's not too long.
It doesn't go character select load done. It's character select load
done. Yeah.
Done.
It's like
oh okay, so I could have read something.
Yeah. There's definitely a pause time in it.
Yeah.
I just thought it would have been better just press A to even continue it once you do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of fighting games do that where it's like you can just run through the tips or something like that. So yeah, but like I said, otherwise I'm enjoying it. A lot of perks about it, like I said, the combat overall is really good when it is working properly. A lot of people are having a lot more benefits with a controller, but I mean, at the post E3 tournament, the main creator won using the actual Joy-Cons punching, beat a dude who was using a Pro controller. Yeah. So goes to show, as long as you have a method, it will work.
Now, I'll be honest, when they first announced the game and when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is dumb. This is going to be really stupid.
See, I was the opposite. I was actually even more hype. And then once I got it, I think my overhype actually hurt me a little bit. Because I just went,
and I'm the opposite, because I was like, man, this is going to be really dumb. I don't want to buy this game. It's stupid. I don't think it looks fun. I got it, and I'm like, wow, this is actually, it's a really good, like, first entry in an IP.
Yes. And I absolutely agree, too. That's the most important thing, too. It is a first entry. Yes. So I am keeping that in mind of like when Arms 2 comes out. IP. When Arms 2 comes out, that's going to be like, oh fuck, they're going to improve everything.
So and this is a terrible game to compare it to, but let's compare it to For Honor.
Well, what I was even going to say, I was going to actually even bring up that like because Splatoon 2 is coming out next month, that I think is almost the perfect mental thing of like we'll see firsthand how good Nintendo is at improving
on the sequels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like, Nintendo can do this well with a game in its first IP, and then you have companies like Ubisoft, who the first Assassin's Creed sucked. For Honor sucked. Like, there's all these games that...
let's not jump too quick on Assassin's Creed. That was debatable, but there is a majority of people who did not like the first one.
But they always improve upon their sequels.
That
traditional Ubisoft sequel.
Yes.
And Nintendo is just really good at putting out solid first games
right out the gate.
Right in IPs. And it's very interesting to look at that from like, Nintendo is this company who is super riddled on gimmicks and super like into, we have to be different
niche
and
stuff.
We have to meet.
Niche is the word I
And we have to meet, but they also want to meet everybody. Like they want everybody to have 2 Switches in their home.
Yes.
Like they want to get to that point. Yeah. But I think with the products that they're putting out for it, I think now that the Switch is out and it has a decent amount of games for it, I think
the demand is still there.
Yes, I think it's doing really well. And like, what are we in? June. So
June.
2-month progress, 3-month progress since it came out. I think it's doing well.
Yeah.
I think it's
I do still wish more games were out. As much as they promoted day one, like third-party support, this thing is going. Even if, and I hate being the guy to even say this, even if they put out more HD remakes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't care.
But I mean, at the same time, we are getting, like obviously Splatoon 2, which is really Splatoon.
Yep. And still, they did all the announcements.
And technically, like I said, like let's not I'm not going to super jump on until it comes out. But at least from even what we have been seeing, it very much more looks like Splatoon 1.5.
Yeah.
You know, or until we see the campaign, and then I can call it a sequel.
It is what Splatoon should have been in the first place.
Exactly.
And it's because it's being geared towards young adults, not kids. The first one was targeted towards kids.
This one's definitely like
the first one was like, hey, here's like a slightly competitive game that kids can play because we see how much they like Plants vs. Zombies. So let's give them another kid shooter.
Exactly.
But now it's like, no, like here's these cute little people that turn into squids and have ink, but like play it, like actually like get competitive with it, get in each other's faces. Well, that's what's
always funny too. Like Nintendo's always been super. I mean, like now they finally picked up the ball, and I still like. I mean, let's be honest. Melee's the one who kind of broke the door open for that. Yes. And that wasn't Nintendo.
No.
That was purely the fans. The fans were the ones who wanted that type of hype, and just you had a community. A diehard community that loved that game and found things to even exploit. Because that when you look at Melee at a surface value, it is not a competitive game at all.
Yeah,
like it's a fighter.
Yeah.
Like ARMS.
Yeah.
But it's not a competitive fucking scene. But people made it that exactly. And I think it would have been better if Nintendo didn't think of ARMS as competitive. Right. That's my Splatoon though.
It's because Nintendo's trying to really enter esports.
Exactly. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm all for that. Splatoon is a perfect example though because it is a shooter. I think they're perfect there. But I think ARMS, I think if they would have went more casual and just said, "Hey, we're purely going to focus on enjoyment," then because of that, then you'll get the people who make it competitive. And I think and especially too like with any game, I think that's where the real competitive community really shines through.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's the people that enjoy the game, and then that's why they get competitive with it.
Right.
Not it's a competitive game, ergo that's why they go into it.
Right.
I mean, that's why, in my opinion, too, you see such a drastic difference from... Let's compare, like, a whole tournament. This is going to sound like a weird example. Okay. But let's compare the entire EVO scene.
Okay.
So EVO, any year, super fighting games, like I said, you have that, diehard competitive setup in it.
Right.
But then you have, like, a game where almost as equally as competitive just on its own is Counter-Strike.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Which is purely focused, 100% competitive. Yep. Here's how it's competitive. Here's how it focuses on it. This is purely like an esports. They even, oh my god, you put thousands of dollars in just for weapon skins, for Christ's sake. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's purely just for competitive scene. And you have people that build upon that. But it's, you know what I mean? At the beginning, Counter-Strike wasn't that. Counter-Strike was just a really good FPS.
Right.
And just like a very accurate FPS. I think that's what they moved.
Yeah, I think that was the
biggest thing, realistic FPS. And they even said out the gate, like when they made a game like that, this game is not for everyone. You will get pissed at this game. If you suck at this game, you will find out you will find out match 1 where your skill level is. And
then you can either fix it or you can quit.
Exactly. That's and that was.
And that's how League is.
Yes, and
League is the same way.
It's a game that does not apologize. It's just like, here's where you're at, and if you know you need to get better, get better.
Yep.
And find a way to get better.
100%.
Like I just think it's and like I said, you don't have to be that necessarily cold, but I think it's very tough, in my opinion, to come out with a new IP. I mean, like I said, ARMS was up against a lot. It's a new IP trying to be competitive.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And it's also Nintendo's first major entry into official esports.
And it's also not a 2D fighter.
No, it's not.
Which is very tough.
A weird fighter.
Exactly. It's a super unique...
Yeah, it's a behind-the-back, small arena, third-person fighter.
Yeah. Third-person, open arena.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. Open arena, punch out, and then it's one of the first competitive fighters, if not the first, to have motion control.
Yeah, oh yeah.
As well as controller.
Yeah.
So you have a whole different.
It was also one of the. I mean, aside from like having, an Xbox controller versus like an Xbox fight stick or a PlayStation controller, like you can play multiple different ways.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's like as diverse as when Mario Kart was on the Wii U and how many different options you had to play.
Yeah.
Like you have the Pro controller, you have motion controllers, you have the standard like on the actual tablet, you have the one that's on the little grip, you have them turned to the side. Like it is.
And the one thing I will already definitely give the Switch huge kudos on, they're like, just with you talking about that, their controller supportability is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, same thing. And right when ARMS came out, I said, I was like, damn it. Because if I want to play with other people, I have to buy a whole nother set of Joy-Cons, which right now retail price is $80. I don't want to shell out $80. Nope. So, but then the second, you were saying that, and even I noticed it after looking at the screen, I was like, oh shit, we can still just use 2.
Yeah.
And I was more mad too, because I was like, I don't know why they didn't do that.
Does it tell us on the back of the box like what the controller options are?
No. It just says how many players. It doesn't say like
it says whether or
not
the Pro controller is supported.
But it doesn't show like a side of the Joy-Con.
Whether or not you can play it in the different modes.
Yes, exactly.
But it doesn't. It doesn't describe.
Yeah, it doesn't do that. I don't know why it doesn't, because that would be super beneficial.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just like something I was just like, wow. But yeah, I don't think so either.
Nope, just as Pro support.
Yep, just Pro support.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, right? Because you don't know until you play the game or until somebody tells you.
And like I didn't think to ever look. Like I used to look at like Wii and Wii U and be like, oh, these are the controllers I can use.
But that's and also too, it's so blended in now.
Yeah. It's
that
just, interesting.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was like,
learn something new every day.
I thought odd. That's another thing too. Like, Nintendo's learning a lot with this new thing out the gate, and like I said. That's what's hilarious. Their supportability is amazing.
It is.
So promote it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, so show people that it's functional for everything.
I think they are now. I think with the new summer commercial that they have going around with ARMS, Splatoon, and Pokken, and going between, hey, here's the TV, here's the...
You're on the go with your friends at a table.
Hey, you're using this controller, you're using that controller, you're using Amiibos, you're using this, that, and the other thing. Like, they're getting to the point where it's like, hey, like... We were diverse before, but like now we're like really diverse. Well, now should, like, pay attention.
Instead of now being it multifunctional, it's all functional.
Yes,
and that's what it definitely seemed like out the gate. I mean, even when I heard their first pitch of like, hey, you know what the Wii U is? Now it's actually like on the go. I was like, oh shit, you had me right there. Yeah. I mean, even the fact like perfect example. I was playing last night. I was enjoying the hell out of it. I was playing on TV mode, and just like at one point I was like, oh, a new show's on Netflix, and I turned on Netflix. I just clicked them right in.
Yep.
And just. Boom. I just have it as a handheld. Like, you just can't beat that accessibility. And, like, something on a smaller scale that's been out for a long time that I think no one is properly utilizing, maybe this is just coming from me being an RPG guy, Vita remote play with a PS4.
Oh, yeah. Well...
Everybody talks about it all the time, but it's how many people actually utilize it. Yeah. Now, you'd have to buy a whole nother peripheral and a whole nother, technically, system just to be able to utilize it. But
why not play Persona 5 on your Vita?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. No, but seriously, like, and that's what I did for a while. And like Digimon Cyber Sleuth and stuff. Games I was putting in 100+ hours.
I don't have a Vita though,
and that's fine.
Go buy a Vita.
And I totally understand that. Yeah. And but you're not a big RPG guy.
No, so but I'm also not going to buy a Vita.
Just ever?
No, because I don't think it's worth it.
Really?
I don't. I mean,
see, for me,
I would have loved to play Uncharted Golden Abyss. But I'm not paying $160
for just one game.
Play one game.
See, exactly. And see, for me, they even though they didn't actually promote it this way, I only was seeing RPGs.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like,
but that's because it's a Sony console.
Exactly. But do you see what I'm saying? Yes, for me, I said handheld RPG, awesome. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get the same one because I love RPGs. And then when they were like, oh, remote play, I was like... Oh, but they didn't even pitch it the right way. Because I thought you had to own both. But then the second I was like, oh fuck, I could just have a PS4 only game on this. I was like, oh, or PS3 back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, and then like, the fucking arcade game support and like all that shit. I was like, oh wow, this really like blew open the door.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But that was a fucking super random tangent.
We just talked a half an hour about ARMS.
I know,
that's incredible.
Well, that's what I'm saying because it's good,
so much to talk about.
It's a very interesting game. It's a full new IP, and like I said, I've said this on a couple podcasts now, and I'll say it again. New is always good.
Yes.
And it's always interesting, and that's the whole thing. As much criticism as I have about the game, like I said, I'm still giving it like an 8 out of 10. I'd still give it like a great rating. Yep. Oh, the other thing, I haven't brought this up yet. The other thing which I'm really looking forward to on the game is the fact that all the downloadable content that's coming out is free.
Yes, it's free. Yep.
And they already they've already, you can fight against, let me word it this way to not spoil technically stuff, I guess. You can fight against a secret character that's not in the game, but will be in the game next month. I think they have a date for the 7th. If I'm not mistaken. I think it's July 7th.
It's the 7th,
yeah, I think it's July 7th.
Which is like super soon. It's not even a month.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's even less than a month. They're already putting in a new character, which is really cool. And they said they're just adding new characters. And if anything, too, all the gripes we have, they might do a big patch and do all this update stuff. Which then, literally, I'll be like, well, I don't even know what the hell I was complaining about. Yeah, you know what I mean? Seriously. So, And that's kind of
and new games and new IPs and first week releases are always going to have those bugs, and they can always fix them.
Well, and that's I think a really important thing that I think we don't even even really still recognize, because it's kind of a thing that they've been slipping in, is we got to be really lucky that we're in a time too where they can really patch stuff, and especially lately they've really been patching major stuff, stuff that's been issues. They're doing major patches and updates. And I mean, they've always kind of had updates and stuff, but yeah, it's always but
now it's hey, there's something wrong with the game,
we're gonna
fix it.
Exactly. So stuff like that. And quick now too. It's not I mean, we were talking about Assassin's Creed before, just riffing about that, but Unity, which was unplayable for 2 months.
Yeah.
Completely unplayable in my opinion for 2 whole months. And then finally they were no, here's a patch that updates it. But now I think in 2017 we're getting a lot of stuff where it's some stuff might be unplayable for an hour.
Yeah.
And then it's
nope. Oh no, we're sorry.
Here's all fixed.
Didn't know that was gonna happen. Here, we fixed it.
And don't get me wrong, I mean it's all in between now. That's I think the problem.
Yes.
I said, we might have ARMS which updates immediately. We have another fighting game like Injustice where we don't know, even though we bought the first fighter pack, and we don't know when all the characters are coming out. Also, Red Hood came out.
Yes, and Sub-Zero's coming out in 2 weeks.
Yes, exactly. See, now we're starting to get tentative dates.
Which is weird because the whole fighter pack wasn't released at one time.
Exactly.
They're separated, so it's just oh, okay, I guess that's
it's
cool.
even more impartial, which is okay, but it's just it wasn't.
It's so I'm buying a mini season pass.
Yeah, it's
basically what it is. You're buying a mini season pass.
Each fighter pack, you're literally getting them episodically.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Which is interesting.
Not really a fan.
Good character balance though for Red Hood.
Yeah.
I just want to say that really quick. We didn't have it on the list, by the way, so breaking the wall a little bit. But I thought we should talk about it because it's been out since E3.
Yeah.
Did you play him at all?
I have not. I didn't buy him yet.
So I played. Well, what's really cool is too. You can actually play him.
Okay.
On the one planet. It's just they give you just the default skin for it.
Oh, okay.
But you can play him.
That's cool.
Which is cool. He can't level up.
Try him out. And
exactly. And what's really cool is though all of the worlds all the stages on that world are all level 1.
Oh,
so
cool.
Even the final boss one, which is usually a 20, is still level 1.
Cool.
So you can try him out or just throw out money and buy him.
Yeah.
Which I think's super awesome.
Eventually,
yeah, exactly. His character balance is really cool. His moveset is fucking awesome. Plays exactly like he plays in the trailer.
Yeah.
Which was something I was a little bit adamant about, but he plays exactly like he should.
Yes, exactly. NetherRealm doesn't seem to lie.
Well, yeah, exactly. They've never showed off a trailer of especially a character in action, and been oh, he doesn't play like this at all. Yeah. They've been fairly accurate.
It's oh, sorry, see that move? Yeah, that doesn't exist. That was just for show.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool,
yeah,
great.
They've never done that.
Street Fighter does all the time with their cinematic shit.
Yes, yeah, which gets a little janky.
Speaking of that, real quick, just want to throw this out there. I know this is game related.
Well, we were talking about Red Hood. So, yeah.
Well, this is game related, but also not game related.
Okay.
We haven't talked about Pops in a really long time.
We have not.
I don't think that we really need to, but there was a leak online that we are getting Marvel vs. Capcom Pops.
Yes, and there are going to be 2 packs.
Yes, and I'm losing my shit a little bit.
Which is a big fucking deal.
Yes. Yeah. So, just want to throw that out there. That is a thing that's happening, and I am excited.
I'm really hoping, too, that... I'm
trying not to buy any more Pops.
Well, I'm also hoping, too, it's older.
Yeah, well, I know it's gonna be for Infinite. I
know, but I would love if it was Captain Commando and War Machine or something. You know what I mean? Oh, I'd love that. Or would be super cool, which they.
Well, I already know hands down they're gonna do Rocket and Dante.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I would kill for, which they probably won't do. That also pisses me off that they're gonna do a Dante pop if they do it this way. It's gonna piss me off if they do a Dante pop before they do a Devil May Cry pop. The series, you know what I mean? We're gonna get them that way first. That bothers me. What I would really love, which they won't, is if they put out the double packs the way the old school action figures came out.
Oh,
and actually did because it was War Machine and Mega Man. It was oh my god, I'm totally spacing on it now.
Wasn't it Wolverine and shit, I don't remember.
I know. I can't think of the Capcom variant.
Yeah, I can't either. I can think of all the Marvel.
I know. I can't.
I don't remember who was paired with who.
The only one I remember because I owned it as a kid and it was my favorite one because it was Mega Man and War Machine. Because War Machine had the cool guns that could flip up.
Yep.
And then Mega Man had his awesome. It was all metallic paint.
Yeah.
And then you could put on his armor from his super.
Yes.
When he gets giants, obviously he doesn't. But his legs extended, so he did grow.
I
and I was
it was
awesome. It was so cool.
It was so cool.
That was my favorite figure of all time. back in the day. Anyway, so sorry.
Tangents.
Yeah. Fucking random tangent. Oh, really quick though about Pops. And no, I know. Just this is more laid back this time.
All right.
You brought it up a little bit subtly, but I am getting frustrated at this. I'm getting pissed off at the fact that like chases are now mainstream.
Yeah. Well, also there is now a Pop for Valerian. The movie that's
my god!
That has two different chases.
Two different chases.
There are two chases
on top of the standard Pop.
Yes.
And he's just posed differently.
Yep.
And like we don't, because obviously the movie isn't out yet.
Nope.
And we don't even know what type of character. So maybe he's a really funny character. Maybe he's awful. Maybe he's the next Jar Jar, and nobody even wants him.
But and he just has two chases.
But people are already like freaking out and buying them. And also too, they need to stop putting out Pops before movies even come out.
Yes.
Valerian's like a whole new thing.
Yep.
Why the
knows
fuck
what
are
it is.
Pops?
Nobody's gonna go buy them.
No, but they are already, because people are already freaking out about chases because chase collectors.
Yep.
Which I think is fucking absurd.
And people are gonna buy them because they're gonna be like, oh, this movie's gonna be awesome, and then I can sell these and make money. But the movie's gonna bomb because it's gonna be the next Jupiter Ascending.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, basically.
Freaked out about all the merch for Suicide Squad, and the movie bombed. And people are like, fuck.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I just hate that. I just hate that every set now you're just waiting for like which one's gonna be the chase.
Yep.
And then it's like, where do I have to go to murder somebody for the chase?
Yep.
You know.
And then now we're getting chase variants of exclusives.
Exactly.
Like,
oh my god.
There's the Hot Topic Maleficent that also has a chase.
Ace. Yep. It's too much. It's just too
ridiculous.
That's I think honestly that's why we haven't talked about Pops in a while.
Because it's annoying. And
it's
I'm
just
done buying them.
It's just getting at the point where it is getting frustrating. Because I mean I think I said on episode 4 that I've been slowing down, and I have. I'm still buying them.
I haven't bought one in a month.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, for me, it's been like I buy maybe 1 or 2 a month. Like the latest one that I'm getting, shout out to Zach, is he set me up with he set me up with the Rose Goku one, which was like awesome. Because I saw that and I was like, fuck, I have to get that one. I was like,
I mean, I might get some of the Comic-Con ones this year, but
exactly, yeah, San Diego Comic-Con should be good. I'm not gonna lie though, there's not been like
one that I'm like, oh my god, I need.
Yeah, the only one where I was like, oh, I really want to get is Red She-Hulk so far.
I want her, and I want Tony Stark holding his helmet.
Yes, that was cool too. Yeah. I knew when I saw that, I was like, Jeremy's going.
Yeah, I was like, I want that one.
I did also, me being like an old school guy, I feel like more appreciating the older stuff. The Wonder Twins I thought was sick.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. Really cool. I'm not gonna buy them, but I still was like.
And Flocked Cat Dog.
Yeah,
I would buy Flocked Cat Dog.
Yep. But, also on a random, only because we're talking about.
We're never getting anywhere.
I know. We're talking about older stuff. They just leaked a Flock Snagglepuss.
Yeah, I saw that.
I want that. Yeah. Oh, but it might be exclusive somewhere weird.
They also have they showed off the Conan O'Brien ones for Comic-Con this year.
Oh.
And he's dressed up as Luke from Star Wars.
With a beard?
No, he doesn't have the beard, but he's got the green lightsaber.
Yep.
He's dressed up as Spider-Man, he's dressed up as the Flash, and then I don't remember what the other one was.
Oh, Flash should be cool.
Yeah, I don't remember what the other one was.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever.
really care.
Those are neat.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so moving on to something
correction.
that's actually...
We'll do a correction, right?
Yeah.
This is technically a correction. Go for it.
So, we forgot to mention this game.
We're sorry.
During the E3 roundup videos that we did. EA announced a really cool game that I completely forgot about. It's called
which is ironic though, because we were talking about this game almost even before E3 happened.
Yeah. It's called A Way Out. It is a cooperative. It's you are forced to play with somebody. You cannot play with somebody by yourself.
It is 2 players.
It is a 2-player game.
Like
yep. It's made by the same company that did Brothers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's basically a cooperative prison break game. And one of you is in prison, one of you has to bust into prison to get yourselves out. And you can go and do everything very differently, but then the game continues after you break out of prison. Mm-hmm. You're running away from the cops, you're living double lives. But the entire game, even if you are playing online, is split screen the entire time.
Yes. Well, because you have to keep track of where the other person,
you have to keep track of what you're doing, where you put things. You have to be able to communicate with each other. You have to be able to make bets with different people, and you have to be able to pay attention. So no matter what you're doing, no matter how you're playing it, whether you're playing couch co-op with 2 controllers or you're online, the entire game is split screen vertically. And it looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I really want to play it. I think it'll be a game that we'll do a Let's Play on.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's
100%.
I cannot believe that we forgot to do it when we were doing the EA thing. So We apologize.
Correction.
But it is definitely a game that you should watch the videos for. You should definitely check this game out because it looks like it's going to be a very, very interesting game, and it's something that nobody has done before. And with all the complaints nowadays that there's no couch co-op games, we can't play together. Why do I need a second controller?
Perfect
this is that game that's like, hey, we have your answer. Yeah.
Well, what's great too, I feel like we're gonna definitely do it. I definitely feel like Two Guys One Live stream.
Yes,
Zach and Q are gonna have a ball.
Yeah, because we'll take it seriously and they'll just be like,
oh god, the comparison videos are gonna be the best.
Gonna be great.
Oh gosh. Yep. We might even...
We have to do that. We have to do a comparison video.
Oh, 100%. Well, what's even nicer, too, is, like, even live streaming is going to be super easy. Yeah. Because then it's on one screen, then we don't have to worry about what each person's doing because it's all there. But I think what's better is, I think we should definitely at one point do, like, a joint.
Yeah.
So then both of us, so then it's like you can watch which team is doing what and vote for which team's doing better and stuff.
Oh, man,
I think that'll be awesome. I'm really hyped for it. Did they put out a date? Or we're still not sure?
They did not
give a date. Did they say this year?
They did not.
Okay, so we're still waiting.
Next year. I'm assuming it's going to be early next year.
Okay.
But
I'm actually thinking end of this year.
It might be.
Because it's technically... Because this is more like an indie title, though, right? I don't think it's going to be a $60 game.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, so I'm thinking...
I don't even know if it's getting a physical release.
Exactly, so it might come out even sooner.
Yeah, it might. We'll see. It looks like it looks very far along. It looks like this game could be done very, very soon. But the game looks awesome. So now for our opinions. So we're going to run down briefly. We won't get into them too much because we kind of explain what each one of these games were.
Well, yeah, more importantly, too. So we got a couple comments from a couple people about all the E3 stuff. Yep. And one thing that a couple people were asking us was to do a top 5 of our E3 because we did so much E3 coverage. Thank you, everybody who was commenting for that.
Yep.
So, yeah, Jeremy, do you want to do yours first?
Sure. Yeah, mine aren't in any particular order. And I have changed it multiple times as people have asked me and I've given them answers. So we're doing top 5. So one of the ones on my list, God, I can't talk, is Battlefront, because of how evolved it is from the first one. I mean, it's 3 times the content that we're getting. Mm-hmm. There's no season pass. Nope. Everything is free.
Still content.
Still content. Post-release content that'll be free. Yep. You can do microtransactions to get different things. The game spans over every era of Star Wars. You get every inkling of the movies. You have all the heroes. They have space battles back. There's a campaign. Like, this game feels like a game this time.
Oh,
and it feels like when I'm paying $60 for it, I'm going to go home and be happy.
Well, it's just like we were talking about earlier. Like, better sequels.
Yes.
This is a better sequel already.
And the game looks amazing.
No,
like, it looks...
Well, even the first one.
Yeah, but I mean, this one looks twice as good as the first one did.
Which is tough to say.
Yeah. And I personally think it looks better than Battlefield 1. I think because I think it's got way more lighting and dynamic effects that I've seen in the gameplay.
Well, dude, I'll be honest.
Especially when they're driving through like the scene in episode 1 when they're in the city and you've got like all the trees coming down and the lights.
Well, dude, even just in the multiplayer, I thought Battlefront's graphics were like one of the best graphics by far the year it came out.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
Frostbite, Frostbite.
There you go.
The Frostbite engine is an incredible engine.
Oh, it's crazy.
And going off of Tiny on a tangent, that is what Madden is using this year. And I'm not about football games, but I've played every single Madden because I always get the opportunity to. And I'm actually excited for this.
Oh, yeah, the graphics are definitely going to change some stuff up.
So that's the first one on my list. Second one is Anthem, which we talked about. Anthem is basically if you took Mass Effect, Titanfall, and Destiny, threw it into one game made by BioWare. It looks incredible. I think it's going to be a really long experience, and I think it's going to be a really, really good experience.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Hopefully.
But from what we've seen so far, it's definitely not coming out till next year.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yes.
It sounds
because
funny
it looks
to say that.
very far along, but this makes it so that we have more time to get a good game.
Yes.
Instead of them
and
being
we'll
rushed.
see more about it too.
Yes.
We'll see more trailers and more content and get a better idea.
You know, even though E3 just happened, we still have the Tokyo Game Show. We still have Gamescom. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We still have the PlayStation experience. Then
and we're going to cover them all.
Yes, we are. We'll cover Comic-Con too. That's totally a thing that's happening in the middle of July. So be ready for that.
Yeah.
So Anthem, I'm really, really excited for that. I'm super excited for Spider-Man. I think that Insomniac is doing a really good job with making a light-hearted superhero have a really badass game.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be a game that's not only catered towards younger audiences, but also catered towards everybody likes it.
Everybody likes Spider-Man.
It's just, it looks amazing. The gameplay looks amazing. They got the soundtrack and the score for it, from what we've heard from the gameplay, like down to a T. Apparently, Spider-Man is never going to kill anybody in the game, which I think is amazing, because to make a game have that much combat and have that much skill and then never commit to a kill is amazing.
And then also to make sure to put the time into it, that you are taking that extra effort to like noticeably not kill anybody.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a little nervous of with that though is like what was a game? This is like a crazy example.
Okay.
That oh god, what was that Vin Diesel game that came out? It was a driver.
Oh, Wheelman.
Wheelman, thank you. No one died in Wheelman.
Yeah.
But you'd see the car explode and just people laggingly be like, Merp. So like, I don't know.
I don't think it'll be anything like that.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Terrible comparison right out the gate. Because, oh, by the way, too, Spider-Man's the only game that we shared on the list.
Yes,
so I'm equally as hype. Yeah, exactly.
It's equally on both of our lists. Next one for me is Assassin's Creed, because I really liked the second one. I really liked Black Flag. A lot of the other ones didn't sell it for me just because I wanted to feel it was easier to play. I wanted an easier game. I didn't want the complicated button configurations. And I know you are an assassin. I get that. But I want to play a game in those eras and in those times where I can be stealthy, but I don't have to be. And you don't always have to be in Assassin's Creed, but it was very difficult to not be. Assassin's Creed now is going to be an open world RPG set in Egypt with Cleopatra, and you've got a real eagle, and it looks like it's going to be so much fun, and it's the only game, aside from like Prince of Persia, that I've ever really touched on that era.
Oh, yeah. And there's definitely not enough.
Yeah.
There's definitely not enough games that have hit that.
It just looks like it's going to be great, and we're finally going to get a real story for Assassin's Creed, because I'm tired of the whole modern, like, oh man, we're going to send you back into the ancestors so we can go find this piece of Eden. Now it's like, hey, we're going to tell you why you exist.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you how this came about. We're going to tell you how all this started.
They kind of need to hit like a reboot.
Well, I think that's what this is trying to do.
I think it's going to be a big fucking reset.
They're resetting the gameplay. They've been working on it since before Unity.
Well, yeah,
which means they've been working on this game since at least 2014.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is like even like a half. I mean, coming from the RPG fanatic, this is coming from like. It seems more RPG. They have a skill tree level up thing. You literally have a classic like World of Warcraft thing where when you level up, it's and the gold thing goes. And it's literally just level up.
God,
I literally saw that. I was like, wow. And I saw a skill tree. I was like, oh shit. I was like, they're really doing skill points like everything else.
Yeah,
I was
like
oh my
you
God.
can actually add stuff to your inventory. You can change your inventory on the fly. Like it just looks like it's going to be amazing. And the graphics for it are incredible. Like Ubisoft outdid themselves with graphics.
Well, they knew they needed to.
Yes.
That was one thing they got bashed on so much. I think they finally shut everybody up. Was like, no, this is what we're outputting.
So keep in mind, this is the same team that did Black Flag. And they've been working on it since before Unity came out in 2014.
Yeah.
Which means they've had a lot of time to really work on this
since
game.
Black Flag.
Yes, since Black. As soon as it came out, work on this one.
Right
which
on Origins.
I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
Last one on my list is Sonic Forces because it has to be there.
Big fucking shocker.
Yeah, I know, right?
I saw that one. I was like, I don't even know why that wasn't at number one.
I
know it was out of order.
I know it was out of order.
Ironically, you did bring that up last, though. Save the best for last.
Yeah, I know. I am excited for it. I've needed a new Sonic game for a while that wasn't Sonic Lost World. That wasn't Sonic Boom.
A good Sonic game.
Yeah. Like the last good Sonic game that I think I played was Generations and Colors. And then
Generations, 100%. I love Generations.
And Colors was cool too. I don't like that we've kept the Wisps involved in everything.
Yeah, I never got a chance to play that one, but I was surprised. Yeah,
Colors was kind of like you know, if you played Mario and you picked up all the different power-ups and became like Tanuki Mario or Fire Mario, it's the same kind of thing, except everything had to do with Sonic's movement.
Yeah.
Sonic drilling underground, or Sonic would be a rocket ship and could fly up, or Sonic could like turn into a laser and like bounce everywhere really quick.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool. But I'm excited for it because they announced that they're bringing back older enemies, and it looks like it's going to be a whole time thing again. And you can create your own character, and it's just like...
Plus the new main villains looking cool. They're bringing back all the older villains.
Yep, it's directed by the same guy that did Adventure and Adventure 2.
Yep.
And it's what Sonic has needed to, again, be relevant. I am excited.
On a sad note, really quick, shout out to Archie Comics. They're finally wrapping up Sonic.
Yeah.
for the
comics. It's done.
Super sad. I mean, they're still keeping Sonic Comics going, but Archie is finally done. And Archie's been doing it since 97. Yeah, or 96 even, I think.
Well, technically.
Yeah,
96.
Starting it. Yeah. We're splitting hairs. Yeah. More of the story. It's been a long fucking time. 20 years.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Also, speaking of that, 20 years, I also want to mention back to Creed, that this is now the 10-year anniversary of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, a lot of people haven't, like, put that together, like, oh my god, like, this is, like, 10 years later.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's Assassin's Creed is 10 years old.
Yep.
Like, how old do you feel? I feel old. Assassin's Creed is 10 years old.
10 years old.
Like,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yep. If you give somebody the first one, it's like, yep. In my day, this is what we played.
Zelda's celebrating its 30th anniversary. Sonic is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Assassin's Creed is already 10 years old. Like, that is a scary thought. Like, games that came out 10 years ago were, like, on the 360.
I think we're getting over here. Like, you're in a midlife crisis at 20.
Yeah.
At 20 years
22.
Old. Yeah, 22. But it's just like,
it's just...
What have I done?
Yeah, it's like, holy shit. Like,
I'm just gonna stare at the game case and be like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, what have I done?
The 360 came out 12 years ago.
Oh, I know.
It's old.
Dude, listen, I know.
Like, holy shit.
I know that better than anybody. That's what I'm saying.
But anyway, that's my list. So, here's your list. You get the book for a little while.
Afraid of death and everything else, fear of what you've done. Yep. This is, by the way, within a week's timeline, I've gotten this book twice.
I know. It's amazing.
It's very, very weird.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, my top 5, I'm starting off with, and mine's in order, at least for me. Wolfenstein 2. Bethesda had nothing good to show except this game.
Yep.
They're doing a lot of awesome stuff. We did talk about it in pretty extensive detail.
Yeah, because there's nothing else to talk about.
Exactly. But, I mean, just kind of like quick bullet points on that one. The shooting looks awesome.
Yep.
The whole first stage prologue is going to take place with wheelchair fucking combat.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Fucking YOLO swag. Yep. Like, that's awesome.
And you're going to be able to take acid.
Oh, the drug trips are what I'm so hyped for. They're doing like 2D old school 50s-esque comics in there, which is fucking awesome.
Great.
They're just going to have fun. And that's exactly what I want to play this game for. Yep. Just to purely have fun.
I actually heard them talk about how... because, you know, this is now America run by Nazis, that they actually came up with a phrase and have coined it for the type of, like, propaganda that you see, action figures and stuff like that, where... You know, today, if you look back on certain things, you know, there's Americana.
Yeah.
They have Germericana. And
I
think that's really interesting that they went as far as to create a name for the type of propaganda.
Well, that's even in the collector's edition that's coming out. You can get the figure for him, which is cool. And it makes him out to be a bad guy.
Yes.
Which is great. Even though you know you're the hero. Like, it's so cool. So next one, number 4, God of War.
Yep.
When I first heard about God of War coming out, I honestly just went, okay, awesome, another God of War. It's going to be great, but whatever. They are super focused, though. The reason why I put this as number 4, it's going to be fucking huge. The story seems awesome. Kratos is going to be a fucking human. Like, they're really humanizing him and giving him a family to care about. Yep. I mean, even, and most importantly, something that I think is like a minor detail that I don't think people are recognizing enough, on the cover art, which officially got put out, your son is on the cover on a boat. Like, which goes to show that your son is going through this entire journey with you.
Yes.
So that is really going to be a main thing. It's, I mean, it sounds silly to say, but I feel like it's going to be very similar to, like, Last of Us.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you're going on a journey, and it is a companionship.
This is Norse mythology meets Greek mythology meets the story of The Last of Us.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be nuts. So I really think with, they're going to give him super character development. They're going to give the people around him a lot. And the combat looks really good. I mean, you're getting that God of War combat, but it is a lot more interesting now because you're getting that like third person over the shoulder.
Yes, it's not like far like not top down, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but almost.
Yeah,
it was almost. So I think that's very interesting, at least from what I've seen from it so far, because then it looks like they're really more putting you in the fight. Like, you're really feeling way more invested, as opposed to...
It feels more personal.
Exactly, as opposed to just way more like, whatever, hack and slash.
Yeah.
Like, you're going on the journey with Kratos at that moment. If a character is going to jump, you're going to see it as quick as Kratos would react to it,
right.
which I think is really cool. Like I said, kind of a subtle thing, but I think that's super important.
Now, one of the things, and I think you might have mentioned it, because I didn't do the Sony E3 recap, Nick and Zach did. So, I don't know if you mentioned it on there or not, but I remember having this conversation at some point about how...
It's good to bring it up again.
Kratos is a Greek god.
Yep.
He is now in Norse mythology.
And had a kid.
And had a kid with somebody presumably from Norse mythology.
Yes, who's both.
This kid is now a Greek/Norse demigod.
God, yeah.
Like...
Or at that point, too, because he would then be like a fourth. So is it semi-god?
Well, he wouldn't be a fourth.
Full demi... Well, wouldn't Kratos technically be labeled a demigod? Because he was bestowed powers from a god. Oh, but I guess at one point he'd be borderline god status.
Yeah. So I don't think
it's weird.
Because a demigod is the son of a god.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well, yeah, no, but he is.
Yeah.
He totally is based off how 3.
Yeah.
So he's a demigod.
So he's a demigod. So his kid is I don't know what's after demigod.
But I'm saying then because it would be a fourth.
Yeah. Well, no, he'd be a third.
A third.
He'd be
2 people.
So.
I'm saying with fractions, then, based off, You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking...
Cut down the fraction.
I thought you meant, a fourth in lineage. I'm like, no, he'd be third.
No.
Okay,
yeah, third lineage.
Yes. Yeah.
Fourth of
25%.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright, I was like, what do you mean he's a fourth? He's the third. He's Kratos. There's no buddy between.
Episode 15 is brought to you by math. Do it, kids. Jesus Christ.
Yep. Oh man.
So anyway, so fourth, because I was talking about that with the whole thing, because
he's a fourth.
It's definitely interesting. But more of the story, he's mixed.
Yeah.
And the only person that at least we've known to be mixed. So it's gonna be really cool to see how that plays out.
Yeah, especially between 2 completely different types of gods. So
what is he even gonna do? What's he capable of?
Yeah, exactly. I am excited for that.
Is he capable to even bring about Greek again? Because of it, maybe after Kratos topples some of Nordic, and by the way, that's also the most important thing we have to recognize too. This is now not a revenge tale.
No, it's not.
So this is not a game, because I think a lot of people are getting confused by that. A lot of people out the gate are gonna go, "Oh, he's gonna topple everybody." Kratos might not even kill any Norse gods in this. Potentially,
because we don't know what his purpose is for being here yet.
Exactly. I mean, I would assume. This is my opinion. I would assume Loki or somebody's going to fuck shit up.
Yep.
And then Kratos is going to go, well, I got to get involved, because then they're going to fuck with his kid.
Yep.
I think that's what's going to be. I think Kratos is going to be, I fought my war. I'm done now. Look, I've killed an entire fucking setup.
Yeah.
Greeks are now gone now because of me. And I think he's going to be like, no, fuck that. But then someone's going to look like, we could use him to topple the Norse gods. Let's fuck with him and fuck with the kid. I think that's what's going to be the driving force. Yeah. So anyway, super going in on that.
Yep.
Number 3, Spider-Man.
Yep.
Talked about Spider-Man a lot. One big takeaway that I know you were talking about a lot of it. One big takeaway that I saw with it is fluency. The whole everything is so fluid, which is so important with Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah, because you can't feel blocky with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is such a loose character. You have to be able to feel. And
his fighting is so free flow, and it very much feels that way.
Yeah.
It breaks it up with at least from what they've shown so far of that we'll just call it Arkham-esque combat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least so far. And that's the thing, too. A lot of people, yet again, I'm not jumping to conclusions on this one. I'm not going to assume every setup for Spider-Man is going to go to this web-slinging area and then do stealth takedowns. I don't think that's
No, I don't think that's going to be how that is either.
I don't think so.
I mean, because then we saw the whole, response action sequence.
Exactly.
Where, all that was different, and I think we're going to get a lot of different things. I think there's going to be, time trials and web swinging and, there's going to be a whole bunch of shit.
It's going to be a full open world.
Yeah.
Full open world sandbox. Yeah. Full open world sandbox. I mean, just pretty much throw it up there. Number 2, Mario Odyssey.
Yep.
Holy fuck. I mean, one of the biggest perks, that yet again, I feel like it's subtle, nobody's really talking about it. And they showed it in gameplay, which is more important. That's why I know this. So with very similar. So this game right out the gate is going to be by far the next Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, full open world explorable environments. Go teleport to those worlds and do all that stuff.
Yep.
One thing. Oh gosh, I'm throwing pens. One thing though. Yeah, right. It's because you gave me the book. Now I have your curses. I have your pen. No, stop. No. I need it still. I didn't do 1 yet. So with 2 though, with Mario Odyssey. One thing I'm super excited about with it is In 64 and Sunshine, when you want to get the next star, you had to jump out of the world and then load back into it because a different part of the world would show up or the world would move. This is all one thing now. And you can collect multiple moons, right? That's the whole thing with this one. It's like crescents. That's what you're collecting now. So all of it is in one go. You can get all of the things in one run if you know how to do it properly. And based off it, I'm assuming too, like getting one moon might affect this spot and then this, or get a character to go from one spot to another and then lead to a new quest and then move this. So I think it's all going to be fluid, which I think is really cool.
Now, did you see, kind of going off topic, but I just thought I'd bring this up. Did you see, I don't remember her name, but the original...
Oh, yes. So a new article got posted
what's her name?
Can you look it up real quick as I'm talking about it? So the original, the OG damsel in distress in Donkey Kong is now... what's her role?
She's the mayor of New Donk City.
She's the mayor of New Donk City now, which is like hilarious now because it's like almost taking over from Donkey Kong. And that's probably... Pauline.
Oh, she's risen to the highest public office of New Donk City. The physical...
Because I'm still assuming Donkey Kong is going to be the head of the city.
I would assume
Donkey Kong, and then Diddy Kong's like VP. You know what I mean? Like president of New Donk City, I would assume. And then, what is it? Pauline.
Yeah.
As opposed to Paulatina. That's not confusing. Pauline. Yeah, which I think is so cool. And by the way, we're going to see a million Easter eggs for that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like a million Easter eggs throughout New Donk City for like all that type of stuff. But overall, gameplay's awesome. The whole throwing your hat and taking over control of an enemy is going to add a full new fucking mechanic that's going to blow the game wide open.
Because you can literally take control of anything that's alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and even like not really alive, like a bullet bill that's like not really alive, but it's alive.
Yeah, an animate object. It has eyes. Well, half of fucking Mario shit is inanimate objects.
But you can take
Goombas are fucking mushrooms that walk, like, for fuck's sake.
The giant dinosaur.
Yeah,
you can take control of the T-Rex.
A fucking actual T-Rex, not like a joking T-Rex. It's a real fucking T-Rex.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I think that's gonna be like a level set exclusive. I don't think it's gonna be throughout anywhere.
Now I'm wondering though how they're going to explain how the hat can do this. I wonder if they're going to go in depth on like why the hat can do this.
Well, already kind of default, they kind of explained it a little bit.
Yeah,
so the hat is a ghost with its own spirit.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that it can do, because even with the eyes for hat, did it get there? But what I was gonna say too, real quick, was even the hat's original form isn't the one that's on top of Mario's head. It's a ghost top hat.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm assuming at the beginning of the game, Mario's gonna free it.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be thankful, and then try to figure out either how to get back to somewhere or something.
Yeah.
Bowser's gonna somehow get involved and fuck it up, as opposed to just not just Mario's thing, but probably this Hattie's thing or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah. So
God, I hope its name isn't Hattie.
I don't know. They probably said its name. I didn't catch it.
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have a name.
Oh God. Sorry, my nose is super stuffy. By the way, I've been like sniffing half this podcast. And number one. Well, we both been. Number one, I was going to give it up to Mario Odyssey. I didn't think anything would top it.
Yeah,
and personally, and I will say this though, by the way.
I still don't like.
Hold on, freeze frame.
Yep.
Here's what I was going to say though. Not to dissuade the fact that I think Mario Odyssey is going to probably get Game of the Year.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Really?
It's up against Zelda.
I know that.
Either way, Nintendo is winning Game of the Year.
Yeah, Nintendo.
It's Nintendo or Mario. One of them.
But dude, I'm thinking, because Breath of the Wild, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. I'm not downplaying it, but Mario.
We'll see.
We will absolutely see.
I definitely think Nintendo is going to dominate though, because
without a doubt.
I mean, not only is it going to have Mario and Zelda at the forefront of almost every single possible thing.
Console presence. Too.
New console presence, but also when it comes to handheld games. Or is the Switch even going to be included in that, first of all? And second, we have Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon coming out, so the Pokemon games will dominate the RPG aspect. And then even when it comes to racing and sports, like Rocket League is being re-released on the Switch.
And Mario Kart.
Like it's literally like Nintendo is going to dominate Game of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
But here's why I put it as number one. Personally, and like this is a personal list, obviously. So personally, I was floored by this. This was the thing at E3 where my jaw dropped. I didn't know that this was even a thing that was thought of. I didn't even think people gave a shit about this.
Me neither.
And that game is DBZ Fighters.
Yep.
Now, also, too, I've heard 5 different videos, and I don't know if the game is called DBZ Fighters or Dragon Ball FighterZ.
It's Dragon Ball FighterZ.
It is. Yes. The Z is separate? Yep. Okay, so it's Dragon Ball FighterZ.
At least that's what Bandai Namco said.
That's what they're saying.
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yes. So, I already talked about this a lot on a lot of different stuff. Or actually, you guys talked about it a little bit on Xbox. Yep. Zach didn't have a fucking opinion. God damn it, Zach. So I fucking do, which is now why I'm going to fucking talk about it. So, holy shit. From the same makers of Guilty Gear. Yep. People who have been making fighting games for decades.
Literally decades.
And the combo system is fucking awesome. They have the combo system very simple, so people can get into it, but complex enough where you can learn to master it. But the combos aren't difficult either.
It's kind of in between like the original Budokai games and Marvel vs. Capcom.
Exactly.
It's got that equal balance.
It's not super just button mash one button, but at the same time it's not super complex pretzel roll into thing, into parry counter, into this.
It's also, keep in mind too, it is a 2D, well, 2.5D, because the characters are 2D and the environments are 3D.
Yes.
And it's a side-scrolling fighter.
Well, no, the other way. The environment is 2D and the characters 3D.
No, the characters in this are 2D.
Oh, well, I mean, yes. But, I mean, you're seeing them do 3D-esque animation.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
And then the environments are destructible, but, I mean, technically the environment is on one plane surface. Yeah.
It's just,
it's going to be awesome.
I love it. They haven't done this yet.
They've only showed off 6 characters, and already, I mean, I would take the game as is right now.
Oh, yeah.
And even gameplay, I mean, people are playing on the show floor. It's fucking great already.
And see, this is what I'm excited for. It's a $60 game, which means they're putting a lot into this game.
Oh, and it's going to be 2 character rosters. It's going to be fucking huge. Plus season, like, this is one, like, Xenoverse came out and they said season pass, and I go, this is one where they go season pass, and I'm like sign me the fuck up.
Because also, it's 3v3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 3v3. Like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yep.
Like, 3v3. It's literally as if Marvel vs. Capcom met Dragon Ball.
Old Marvel vs. Capcom.
Marvel, yes. Yeah, new one's 2v2.
2v2. Keeping up that super fast-paced combat by slowing down the entire combat and cutting a character. We got tired of watching 5-minute matches, so 2.5.
Yep.
So, yeah. Because also, too, I was playing a little bit of the story demo, and the matches go by very quick. Also, in their defense, we are mostly fighting robot characters, which aren't, like, the actual characters. But their health bars are the same. I did, like, a little, like, you hit me, I hit you thing to see where the scaling is. It's the same, so... But DBZ Fighters, I think that's gonna, like I said, personally for me, I am super hyped for this. With everything, especially right now, everything has been fighting games.
Yes.
We've been playing everything under the sun, whether it's Injustice 2, fucking Tekken 7, and then, now we have ARMS. It's just fighting game. Now, this one isn't coming out for a long time. They said 2018?
Yes.
For this?
Early 2018.
Early 2018. My guess is February, because that is when all the fucking anime shit comes out. It's February. Everything drops in February.
Also, because it's Dragon Ball Z, it is being released on both PS4 and Xbox One.
Yes.
It's not. It's not one of the anime titles that is just strictly on PS4 because it's anime and in Japan.
Because it got showed off at Xbox's conference.
Yes, that was the biggest shock that I think that I had seen through E3.
I would have never thought DBZ gets showed off at Xbox.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
Like,
that was definitely a whole new.
That's what I'm saying, man. It was
just incredible.
That was the only E3 moment where my jaw was like, oh my god!
Now, keep in mind, we knew that this game was a thing before walking into Microsoft's conference.
We did. We had no idea.
We had no idea what it was, though.
Yeah, exactly. We had no idea I thought it was like just a Xenoverse 3v3 jump in, fly around.
Yep.
Because that's that's another game that is kind of similar. The new Gundam Verse is coming out.
Yes.
That's a game that's going to be that third person fly around. I think that's way more appropriate for a Gundam game.
Yeah.
But holy shit.
Can we get a J-Stars 2 that plays like this?
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we're getting a game like this, and this single-handedly is going to bring back hype for 2D fighters.
Oh, absolutely.
Because 2D fighters, people are getting tired of it. You know what I mean? And, like, you still have, of course, Injustice and Mortal Kombat, which are doing, and Street Fighter and other shit, but Injustice 2, I just want to bring it because that was recent. You still have games that are, still keeping it at the forefront.
Yeah.
And doing a great job, but, like, this is a game where you're going to get, like, new IP and just jaw drop it. And you have a company who's been dedicated to, more importantly, not just fighting games, anime-esque fighting games.
Yes. And anime games.
Yes, just even in general, I think they're going to fucking kill it. I mean, they could stop production today, and I would still gladly spend $60 on this game. So, that was the one, like I said, I was absolutely floored. I'm handing over the power. I was handing over the power. You're like, you were just waiting all the time. But yeah, I think that wraps it up for today.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so that pretty much covers it for episode 15.
Yep.
Yet again, guys, if you haven't caught it yet, please check out the E3 coverage if you want to hear any more about
the whole playlist of all five videos.
Yes, and we went over coverage even more in depth over all these games, but we just wanted to do way more of a personal vibe this time around because we did way too much informative.
Yes.
So that pretty much covered a lot. Yet again, guys, always check out our channel if you haven't heard of us already. Obviously, we're on episode 15 now, but we've put out, how many did you say now?
45 videos.
45 videos. We should probably do something for the 50th.
We should.
50th video. We should definitely just do something. So always check us out. Always hit the subscribe button. We always appreciate it. Real quick shout out to, I gave you a heads up though.
Yeah.
So really quick shout out. My brother has a channel up. Melee Master is his channel. We'll put it in the link in the description.
Yep.
Right. Awesome. So we'll put that up. He's been doing a lot of videos. He's up and coming YouTuber like ourselves. So I just want to give him a quick shout out. If you're into, he's pretty much doing a lot of more Let's Plays as we're mostly talking. I mean, we've done a couple Let's Plays now, but yeah, he's pretty much like strictly gaming with stuff. He's done stuff all the way from Plants vs. Zombies, Geometry Dash, and oh my god, Minecraft. Thank you, Jesus Christ. I was forgetting like the titan of all games. So he's been doing a lot of that stuff. So if you just want to see like, gameplay of that, he's always doing stuff like that. And then as well, he's also doing something a lot different than we do. We usually do Twitch live stream stuff. He's doing YouTube live. So that's even, you can just stay on one channel. He's just on YouTube. That's his main thing. So I just want to shout out a plug out there for him. And his video content's great. And me and Jeremy have always both said, we never usually plug anyone unless we thoroughly have been watching their content. I'm personally subscribed, and even a lot of my buddies are too.
So am I.
So it's just something to check out. Like I said, links in the description there. Shout out to him. But yeah, so I think that wraps it up for episode 15.
Yep. Don't forget to check the Facebook page, facebook.com/playerroundtable. You can also check out facebook.com/2guys1livestream.
Yes.
Most of the live streaming content and all the compilation videos you guys have seen from Zach and Q, they'll be up on our Facebook as well as theirs right here on the YouTube channel.
Dead Rising just came out too. That shit's hilarious.
Yes, they have a video.
David.
Play
a drinking game. Every time you hear David, you will literally die.
Yes, it's going to be... you would have so much fun.
Oh, my God.
But they have new videos coming out every week. We're going to be doing a lot of cross stuff with them for foreplay Let's Plays.
Definitely. Coming up very, very soon.
So... But check out both Facebook pages, check out both Twitch pages. Subscribe here, like here, comment on Facebook, hit the bell.
Yep, bingo. Hit the bell too, because that gives you all the notifications for when we post.
And if you don't know what bell we're talking about, if you're looking at the video, underneath the video, it should say subscribe. Next to subscribe is a little bell. Hit the bell, make sure it's lit up. It's little
here.
Yep, right
here.
There. Yeah, it's
there.
right. It's right.
Yes.
There. Yeah, it's over there.
There.
So hit the bell. The bell should light up blue.
Yep.
Once you hit it, and that means that you'll get a notification from us either on your phone or through email or whatever you want.
New thing that YouTube did like a couple months ago. But
that way you know that we're putting videos out, so you guys don't miss anything if you're into it.
Yeah. So on that note, guys, good evening, good night, and good luck. Have a good one, guys.
See you guys.